Elena Rybakina handed daunting Dubai path featuring Coco Gauff. Elena Rybakina is back in action this week as the Dubai Tennis Championships get started on the WTA Tour calendar. She enters the tournament as the top seed, with Aryna Sabalenka and Iga Swiatek both pulling out ahead of the event. Dubai follows on immediately from another WTA 1000 event in Qatar, which saw Karolina Muchova take home the title. After her Australian Open win, Rybakina was knocked out in the quarterfinals by Victoria Mboko, who ended up losing to Muchova in the final. Elena Rybakina faces tough Dubai path that may include Coco Gauff. Moving on from Doha, Rybakina faces a potentially very challenging path at the Dubai Tennis Championships in her pursuit of further WTA Tour success. The top seed starts with a first-round bye, and will then face either Tatiana Maria or Kimberly Birrell in the second round. She could then be up against British number 1 Emma Raducanu or Elisabetta Cacciaretto, who recently knocked Coco Gauff out in Doha. Muchova is another possible third-round opponent for Rybakina in Dubai. In the quarterfinals, she could run into Belinda Bencic, Jessica Buses-Monero, Paula Badosa or Elena Svitolina. Coco Gauff or Jasmine Paolini are both potential semi-final matchups. If Rybakina makes it all the way to the final, she might have to get through Jessica Pegula, Amanda Anisimova, Ekaterina Alexandrova or Mira Andreeva to lift the title in Dubai. Elena Rybakina faces growing expectations at Dubai Tennis Championships. While Sabalenka has chosen to rest since their final in Melbourne, Rybakina has stayed active. After winning the Brisbane title and then losing in Melbourne, she opted for rest and recovery instead of immediately playing more tennis, and has been off the court since the hard-court Grand Slam. Her decision to skip Dubai alongside Swiatek is not ideal for the WTA Tour, though the field still features plenty of talent despite their absences. There is pressure on Rybakina to perform as top seed. Fresh off her win in Melbourne, she will be expected to lead the way in Dubai. Gauff is also under scrutiny. She followed up her quarterfinal exit in Australia with an early loss in Doha and will be looking to rebound quickly, which could spell trouble for Rybakina if they meet later in the tournament. The draw still includes rising talents like Mboko, Iva Jovic and Alexandra Ila. But organizers have taken another hit with Qin Wenjing joining the list of withdrawals. Desert Fire and the Queen of Calm, Elena Rybakina's daunting Dubai path featuring Coco Gauff. The desert has its own language. It speaks in wind that rearranges the dunes overnight, in heat that tests endurance, and in glittering skylines that rise where sand once ruled alone. In Dubai, spectacle is not an accessory, it is a way of life. So it feels fitting that the tournament stage there, the Dubai Tennis Championships, often delivers draws that shimmer with promise and peril in equal measure. This year, the path set before Elena Rybakina reads like a trial by fire, a bracket laced with power hitters, relentless defenders, and looming among them, the electric presence of Coco Gauff. It is not merely a route to a trophy, it is a gauntlet demanding nerve, adaptability, and the unblinking calm that has become Rybakina's signature. The weight of the draw. Tennis draws are often described clinically, lines on paper, seated positions, projected matchups. But for players, they are psychological landscapes. For Rybakina, Dubai's landscape is rugged. She is no stranger to high stakes. A Grand Slam champion forged in the wind tunnels of grass courts and hardened under the spotlight of expectation, she carries a game built on first-strike dominance. Her serve is a thunderclap, flat, precise, and delivered with an economy of motion that disguises its violence. Her groundstrokes cut clean through courts that slow others down. Yet Dubai is not grass. The hard courts here are quick but not reckless. They reward aggression, yes, but punish impatience. The margins are thin. One dip in focus can invite an opponent back into the match. And among those opponents stands Gauff, the embodiment of athletic elasticity and mental steel beyond her years. Clash of temperaments. If Rybakina is ice over flame, Gauff is kinetic energy contained in human form. Rybakina's face rarely reveals the storms within. She walks to the baseline with the composure of someone solving a puzzle she has already studied. Her strokes are linear, devastating, efficient. Points are often short, decisive. She imposes. Gauff, by contrast, thrives in chaos. She stretches rallies into marathons, turns defense into counterattack, and feeds on the roar of momentum. Her speed is disruptive, her backhand, a weapon, her competitive fire, unmistakable. Should their paths collide in Dubai, the match would be more than a contest of ranking or reputation. It would be a duel of philosophies. Rybakina's question would be simple: can she strike through Gauff's defenses before the American's movement transforms offense into attrition? Gauff's challenge would mirror it. Can she absorb the Kazakh's pace and redirect it, extending points long enough to expose cracks? The desert as crucible. Dubai does not hand out trophies lightly. The city's aura, luxury against barrenness, mirrors the tournament's nature. Glamour surrounds the event, yet the competition strips players down to essentials. There is nowhere to hide in a WTA 1000 field. Early rounds can feel like semifinals elsewhere. For Rybakina, every match in such a draw carries the subtle pressure of expectation. She is no longer the surprise champion or the dark horse. She is a hunted presence, a player others prepare for with specific plans. Her serve, while monumental, must land. Her forehand must dictate. Her second serve, sometimes a flicker of vulnerability, cannot falter against elite returners. Gauff, meanwhile, represents not just a hurdle but a symbolic barrier. She is the new generation's standard-bearer, fearless, media-savvy, and tactically evolving. To navigate past her would signal not only physical readiness but psychological supremacy. The geometry of power. On a tactical level, their potential meeting would be a masterclass in geometry. Rybakina prefers straight lines, down-the-line lasers, inside-out forehands that carve space with ruthless intent. She compresses time, stealing it from opponents. Gauff bends the court. She angles, retrieves, improvises. She turns defense into spirals that pull opponents wide before snapping the ball cross-court. In Dubai's conditions, first-strike tennis holds an edge. But rallies, inevitably, will form. And in those rallies lies the tension. Rybakina must trust her aggression without tipping into overhit errors. Gauff must balance retrieval with calculated offense, knowing that passive defense against Rybakina is a recipe for surrender. Composure under the lights. There is something cinematic about Dubai evenings, floodlights casting sharp shadows, the hum of anticipation thick in the air. Rybakina has built a reputation for emotional minimalism. She rarely celebrates wildly. Winners are acknowledged with a small nod, errors absorbed with barely a flicker. It is a form of armor. Gauff, too, has grown in composure, her early teenage exuberance now blended with strategic maturity. She understands pacing, momentum shifts, and the importance of staying anchored during swings. In a tight third set, those subtle psychological edges could decide everything. Will Rybakina's stoicism steady her?